Wallen. But you know that, don't you? Because you're stalking me. You're following me. Why is it that you're following me? Do I need to get out a restraining order? I don't know. Not really. What you have just witnessed is me getting my DJI RS4 gimbal and my LiDAR rangefinder working in conjunction, so it now follows me. I haven't worked out all the kinks. There's still times it's a little bit iffy, and sometimes it drifts upwards. So all of a sudden you're just seeing me from here up. So I have to reach in and tilt it down a little bit. But I stay in focus, which is a beautiful thing. I bought this for the super secret project, which is obviously now called the Me and My Muse stage adaptation, to make the filming scenes come off a little easier, so that myself and my best friend who will be operating the camera don't have to work so hard, because it's going to be a lot. And that's a good segue into what I want to talk about next, because I'm going to talk about two more things, each of which are interrelated. As you might expect, after I do all of these videos and I watch them, now before you get this strange idea that I watch them to pat myself on the back and say, hey, look what I did. I don't do that. That's not what I do. That's not the reason why I watch them. I watch them so that I can find ways to improve these videos. But there's a little bit of a problem with that. I am an actor. And anytime I get the opportunity to watch myself, especially on film, which is really the only way I can watch myself, although I do have a story, but I won't share with that right now, maybe some other day. The only way to watch myself is via film. And after watching so many of these videos, something hit me yesterday, and I'm probably not going to explain it very well, but it culminated in imposter syndrome tapping me on the shoulder and saying, you have not gotten rid of me, baby. And so I started going down that dark spiral of, I don't know what I'm doing. Have I been fooling myself all of these years? I've been acting for decades. I've been in hundreds and hundreds of shows. And I watch these videos and I think, I don't have it. I don't have it. That thing that makes people want to watch. Sure, I have information to share with you. But all of a sudden, my mind and my heart were inundated with this thought that I might not be able to pull this off anymore. And it was devastating. Now, it was only devastating for a very brief period, because I talked myself down from that ledge, and it was quite simple. And I told myself that these are just, you have to look at these as instructive videos. This is not me acting. This is not me being a character. This is just me. This is just Jack, or just Jack. That's all this is. I'm not hiding behind a character. I don't have other people's lines to say. I don't have a dialect to hide behind. I don't have costumes on. It's just me. It's me stripped of all of my masks, standing in front of a camera, ad-libbing 15 to 20 minutes of something or other, and hoping that what I say has value and meaning to the people that watch it. I know that you're not watching me as if you're watching an actor portraying a character. You're just watching a person. And that is very different than watching an actor on stage or on the television or on the big screen. And one of the things I try very hard to do for these videos is not be on. I'm not performing. I'm just me. And so I had to just give myself a little bit of grace and say, you know what? You can't judge your talent based on these informative videos that you're creating, because that's not what this is about. This is not about me trying to impress you. This is me trying to help you, whether it's you as an artist or you as a human being. That's my goal. And maybe there might be times where I entertain you, make you laugh, make you cry. But I'm not here to entertain you. I'm not here to perform for you. So if you're an actor watching this, be careful of judging yourself. If you're going to film yourself, do so while you're actually acting. If you're just filming yourself talking, presenting something, don't judge yourself on your acting skills. You might judge yourself on your improvisational skills, because that's what this is all about. Me standing in front of a camera without a script in front of me, a teleprompter or anything, it's just about improvisation. So sure, you might be able to judge yourself on your ability to do that, but don't judge yourself as an actor standing in front of a camera, unless you're recording an audition. That's a different story. But that leads me into my next subject. I've talked about that enough. Oh, just a little reminder that there is a ghost in the machine. That's a great song, isn't it? Great album. I'll have to ask my best friend about that. He's the Police fanatic. I like the Police. Wouldn't say I love the Police, but I do like them. Anyway, that's enough. So this week I have made an announcement that is pretty exciting, I think. Now, unfortunately, this announcement only applies to people in my local area. So I apologize to you if you're not in my local area. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it such that this will apply to people outside of my local area, but we'll see. But I have announced that I'm going to be offering a round of free acting classes this fall. Interesting that happened at the same time that I got struck by a bout of imposter syndrome. Makes sense, though, to be honest. Okay, so let me explain. I have taught at university, 3 different universities. I've taught acting, movement, voice, and intro to theater. I loved teaching. I loved it. I actually had students begging me to fail them so they could take my class again. I never did, because that's just wrong. But I loved it. I truly did. And so after my last round of teaching, I was an adjunct faculty member. And, if you've ever done adjunct teaching, oh boy, we won't get into that. After that last round, actually during that last round, I developed an acting technique. Hasn't everybody? It's called the butterfly effect. Why did I do that? Why? Why would I develop an acting technique when there is already established techniques around? And does anybody really want to learn a new acting technique? Yeah. Let me tell you a story about a man named Jed. So I went to Purdue University. I graduated from Purdue with a Master of Fine Arts in Acting. Boiler up, baby. We studied the Meisner technique for 3 years. And the whole time I'm in there, in thick and deep and knee deep, just brain thicky, mushy, with Meisner, I had no idea what was going on. I was so clueless. Of course, I came into that program already behind, because the undergraduate program I went to really got a lot of experience, but I didn't get a lot of education. So I knew that I had a lot of catching up to do, but boy, was I lost. The whole time I'm studying Meisner, the whole time I'm in those classes, I'm just like, what is going on? What is she saying? What am I doing? I'm so lost. I didn't get it. I really didn't get it. The repetition, you're wearing a blue shirt. Yes, I'm wearing a blue shirt. You're wearing a blue shirt. Yes, I'm wearing a blue shirt. I'm not really wearing a blue shirt. I'm wearing a black shirt. If you've ever studied Meisner, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I graduated, and I was very, very lucky after I graduated. I went from gig to gig to gig to gig to gig to gig to gig. I just got lucky. But all the while, I'm just like, Meisner was still rattling around in my head, and it still wasn't coming together. It just wasn't gelling. And I was with the Milwaukee Chamber Theater doing a production of Candida under the direction of Monty Davis with Jonathan Smoots and Brenda Bedard, two remarkably fantastic actors. So one day we're rehearsing, and I am watching Jonathan and Brenda on stage. I was on stage too. It was a scene that I was in, and I'm watching and I'm listening to them. And I was just mesmerized by what they were doing, and I just got caught up in their skills and what they were saying and how they were saying it and how they were moving and everything. And then all of a sudden, the stage went silent, like the AC coming on. No, that's not it. The stage went silent. And Monty was like, "Jack, that was your cue." And I didn't really hear Monty say that. I was just still lost in that. And then I realized what was going on. And I just said my line. I replied to what was going on honestly. Because I was truly lost in that moment. And after I said that line, Monty runs up on stage and he hugs me and he's like, "You got it." Because that was a scene that I was having trouble with. And in that moment, I realized what Meisner was all about. The heart of the Meisner technique, from my perspective. Because I know there will be people out there, there will be Meisner scholars that will wholeheartedly disagree with me. But I believe that the heart of Meisner technique is active listening. Yes, he defined it as behaving truthfully under given circumstances. And I believe that. That is absolute for me. But I think to get to that point, you have to understand what active listening is. And active listening is not an easy thing to comprehend. It is not an easy thing to teach. And it takes a long time to really, really work its way into your system. And while I was at U of L teaching, I came up with a method that makes active listening pretty easy. And I tested it on my students at the time and was shocked at the results. I had been working with them this whole semester, and they were growing. But then I tested this method out, and their growth from that point on was phenomenal. And when I left that school, when the whole department kind of changed and they didn't need the adjunct, they didn't need me back, I decided that I was going to start an acting studio. I was really pumped about that. And I came up with a name, the Butterfly Effect. And the name really is apropos to the method. It makes sense. I'm not going to get into that, but it would make sense. So I started talking to people about starting this acting studio, and a few local people that I respect around here shot me down. They said, "Don't do it. No one in town wants to improve. They're not going to take classes because there's not enough competition here, and there are too many theater companies doing shows that everybody always gets cast and blah, blah, blah. So I gave up. I said, no, I won't do it. And I regretted that decision because it was something that I wanted to do. I felt compelled to do because I had this thing in me that I wanted to share. And so it took me about 2 years after that when I finally said, I'm going to make this happen. And I have found a location, and I honestly, I don't know if anyone will attend these things because, again, it's hard to get people to come. It's going to be free. Why would you not want to attend a free acting class? You might learn something. Who knows? You might even have fun. Who knows? We'll see. But they're going to be free. This first round is going to be free. I'm kind of testing the water to see if it is viable for me to open my acting studio. And if I do, anyway, so I have posted something on my website, jackwallen.com, which will redirect to monkeypants.net. A little bit of trivia. My domain, monkeypants.net, comes from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'll let you figure out where. But if you go there, you'll see the new post about the acting lessons, and there's a form that you can fill out to reserve your spot. And hopefully there will be people sign up. We'll see how that goes. But I'm excited. I'm very excited because I think this method that I have created works. And it works really, really well. And it will help you become a better active listener. Because active listening is very different than just hearing. You know what I'm talking about. Hey, so last night I wrote the final sentence on Violet Delight's 5 Deadly Beloved. Woo! I'm going to go back and reread it, to clean it up, and then I'll send it to beta readers and they'll read it. I'll make some changes if necessary. I'll read it again. Then I'll send it to my editor, the publisher, the editor. Then we'll go back and forth a little bit. I'll read it one last time. Then I'll send it to the publisher. In the meantime, I will either start writing Violent Delight 6 or I'll start writing this 1950s era horror series. I'll start that. We'll see. I don't know. Anyway, that's all I have to say today. Again, I partially wanted to do this so I could test my new technology to see how well it works. Thank you so kindly for giving me a moment of your time. I hope that I have entertained you. I hope that I have given you something of use. If not, I apologize. If so, maybe you could share it with somebody. Send them the link. Say, hey, you might want to watch this. If you are in Louisville, Kentucky, and you'll be here during the fall, sign up for my acting classes. It's going to be a hoot. It's going to be a hoot nanny. Anyway, thank you again, and I hope you and everyone you love have a wonderful, wonderful